The Worcester Railers have just made a trade with the Savannah Ghost Pirates ahead of the 2024-25 season. Part of that trade is goaltender Michael Bullion. Michael, welcome to Worcester.
Appreciate it. Happy to be here. Looking forward to the season and just super excited and really looking forward to what I've heard is coming this year.
We'll talk about plenty to come this year, but first off, just tell us about your summer. From what I understand, you're somewhere rather warm right now.
Yeah, I got married just last week. So we're on the honeymoon right now on the big island of Hawaii. And I got some decent scenery for the interview today. And no, it's been a fantastic week. Bit of a stressful summer just with the wedding planning and everything, although I won't lie to you and say I did the majority of it. But yeah, no, it's been a really special summer and no, it's been exciting for sure.
Have you had any opportunities to hop out on the ice? I'm not sure how many rinks they have down there in Hawaii.
No, not this week in Hawaii for sure, but no, most of the time I'm in Toronto. I used to play with Anthony Rapace, so we've gone way back and I'm out there pretty frequently. Either helping out goalie coaches with some instructing here and there, but or just kind of getting in sessions, getting in work. So definitely getting a lot of sessions in this summer. But the majority of my work is actually off the ice, just working on the body, maintenance, strengthening, building up the core. Those are kind of the bread and butter for me, really, and that's been huge for me.
Open that up a little bit more. What's your relationship like with the Railers captain? What do you see compared to what the rest of the fans get to see on a nightly basis here in Worcester?
So I probably have a bit of an interesting relationship with him because I didn't get to play with him in the traditional sense of like I got him for a full season. I was AP'd with the junior Canadians back in the day, and you know Patch really took me under his wing and helped me out because I was pretty nervous. I mean, it could be kind of a scary feeling when you're 15, 16 with the team, and all of a sudden their goalies go down and they're like, "Hey, we need somebody, and we need you to play playoff series." And it was nerve wracking for me because I'd never done that. And Patch really just he mentored me and he told me like how, hey, here's how you operate in a locker room. Like you've never really done this in a junior A environment because it's very different from minor hockey. And that guy will always kind of hold a special place in my heart. And he's always been a guy that every time I see him, he's super excited to see me. He's just salt of the earth dude. And I've never really gotten to play with him since then, so I'm actually really looking forward to it. He was the first guy to reach out to me when he heard about everything going on with the trade. And no, it's really cool. It's kind of that full circle moment of coming back around. And honestly, I really couldn't say enough nice things about him because he just really is a genuinely good person. And I think the way he is with fans is pretty much the way he is with everyone, because from what I've heard, he's fantastic with the people of Worcester. And I only hope I could follow, in his footsteps in some way.
He's won the Worcester Railers fan favorite award the past 2 years, I think, for a reason, and it sounds like you can attest to that. So it's great to hear a good relationship there with the captain. Let's talk about the trade a little bit more. Obviously, you were just traded here to Worcester alongside forward Jordan Kaplan uh, in exchange for future considerations. Just talk about what was your reaction to hearing that you were being traded to Worcester.
Yeah, I mean, my reaction was, a high level of excitement, to be honest with you. It was something that, we had kind of seen coming for a bit now. We've been following, some of the goings on across the league and realized like, hey, Savannah might not work out this year. Um, and it really was my first choice of a location. Not only because I really believe in the coaching staff, I believe in the team they're building, but also the things I've heard about the city. I don't think anyone's ever really told me anything negative, to be honest with you. The first thing everyone says is, hey, this is a great spot to play. It's a great environment. And I'm a big fan guy. Like I love the fans. I really go out of my way to engage with them as I can. And I was told that the fans in Worcester are some of the best, if not the best in the league. So, honestly, from day one, it's just been pure excitement. Both me and my wife are really looking forward to it. We're looking forward to getting to know people, getting to know the area. Obviously we've heard about, clam chowder and some of the good food there. So we're really looking forward to that as well. But no, honestly, we've heard nothing but good things, and we're just really excited.
Have you ever had clam chowder?
Oh yeah, I've had some Massachusetts clam chowder, but I've only been to Worcester the one time, and I didn't get to try it there. So I'm really excited because it's one of my favorite things to eat.
It's good. I actually didn't even have it until about probably 2, 3 years ago, and I was a bit behind the eight ball on that, but it is good. So you have the right thing to look forward to up here. Talk about
Perfect.
your relationship with general manager and associate head coach Nick Tuzzolino. Obviously, he was with Savannah last year as well, where you were, and you got to play with him a little bit too towards the end of that 22-23 season.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Tuz and I have nothing but respect for that man. I, as a player, we joked around a lot last year because when you go from like that player relationship to player coach and now to player coach GM relationship, it does change how you have to act around people and how you have to the degree of not respect, but just like, you know, authority that there is there. You have to respect that. Um, but honestly, like that is a person that I have had nothing but respect for since day one. When I walked into that locker room in Savannah, my first year when he was a player, I was thinking to myself, like, man, who's this old guy? Like, what's this guy doing here? And he just came up to me and he just chatted me up. And honestly, he was one of those people that I'm like, there's like this guy is so old. Like, how is he gonna play? Like, thinking to myself, like, what's going on here? And he goes out there, and I think from day one, for all those games he played, he was probably my favorite defenseman to play with, because he just knows the game so well, and that immediately translated to him coaching. I mean, we saw it last year. With just the way he was around the locker room, the way he interacted with guys, the way he could motivate a team to really go out there and, leave behind some of the drama and stuff that was going on in our locker room at times and just play. And systems are systems. He knows the stuff, and he has great systems. He has all that stuff nailed down pat. But just the way he can motivate people, the way he can interact, the way he gets to know people, forms connections with people, is really special, and it's one of those where, again, day one, he met my wife and they're friends, and he makes that effort to connect with people. He makes that effort to connect with fans. And again, he's another guy like Apache, where I really couldn't say enough nice things about him. And I have tons of respect for him. I am super like grateful for him and appreciate everything kind of he's done for me over the years. Um, but yeah, like he's an amazing coach, and yeah, we have a great relationship. And he's taught me a lot about being a starting goalie, taught me a lot about being a true pro. And his lessons are some of the ones that have really stuck with me these past 3 years. I mean, again, just really can't say enough nice things about the man.
In expanding on last season a little bit more, you spent the brunt of the season with Savannah. You got to spend some time in the American Hockey League as well. How would you describe last season for you?
So last season was a bit of a roller coaster. I mean, it's, when you're not on an AHL contract, sometimes it can be an up and down journey. I mean, I got to be at Vegas Golden Knights camp last year. I got to do Henderson camp, and then you come down and you're third goalie, and it's, it can be a roller coaster, and then all of a sudden it's injury and you're back playing, and then there's a guy down and you're not playing at all, and then all of a sudden two guys go up, and you're the only guy, and you are playing every single game, for weeks straight. um and it's definitely a roller coaster. It's crazy, but it's very rewarding in the sense that you learn so much about who you are as a man, as a player. um you learn how you are in a relationship, because those events are stressful too for you and your wife, and or you and your significant other. And you know, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about digging deep and having grit in some situations where it wasn't easy, and it would have been easy to be really negative. But I'd say the biggest thing I really learned was how to be a starter, and how to play in those moments where the rest of the team's not really feeling it that day, and you just have to bear down and steal a game, or you have to bear down and keep your team in it for however many minutes you need to. Um, so I mean, obviously, like the AHL experience was fantastic. The NHL experience there with the camp was amazing. Those are memories I'll never forget. But really, the experience down on the coast with Savannah was great, and I learned a ton about how to play and how to be a great goalie.
And continuing to just talk about some of your history here, your first full pro season, you started with the Norfolk Admirals. You then spent some time in the SPHL, but then jumped back up with Savannah. Talk about, I guess these past 2 years, a little bit more full picture, where you spent time in the SPHL last year or 2 years ago, and then time in the American Hockey League this past year.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's been a roller coaster for me. I was lucky. I found a person like Tuz who's in my corner and has really helped me out the last few years, or yeah, the last few years realistically. And but honestly, like that SPHL experience is some of the memories that I'm most grateful for, because not only did I make quite a few friends that I still talk to this day, that I still check up on. Um, but again, I learned that kind of having an ego in this business is irrelevant, and I really lost it there. Like I wouldn't say that I was ever a big ego guy, but like I always had a little bit of that like cocky swagger kind of. And I just ditched it. I was like, you know what? Like you don't need it. And I think I'm much the better for it. So, I was only in the SP for essentially 2 weekends and had an absolute blast. Really got along. I mean, the coach there is again still a very, very close friend for me and my wife. And we keep an eye on his newborn daughter and everything. And um really cherish kind of getting that experience because of how much it shaped and changed how I view the world, how I view hockey. And I mean, when you're in the SP, you have to love the game, and that's the big thing down there, is like if you don't love the game, it's too hard to play down there. It's not an easy league to be in, especially not for a goalie. But you see it, the guys that come out of that league, they're usually the best guys, like to hang around with, to be around, because they're just awesome people. Um, and they work harder than everyone else because they're willing to put, their neck on the line to stay. And that's the attitude I really took from those experiences, is like, hey, I will do anything to stay up here. I will do anything. I will put my neck on the line. I will grind. I will work hard. I'll be the hardest worker any day, um, to stay and to really value the opportunities that I've been given.
When you found yourself down in the SPHL, what was your thought process in trying to make it back up to the ECHL at that point?
Yeah. So, at first it's a scary feeling, because you're like, you hear stories about the SP, and this isn't to knock the SP at all, because it's actually a surprisingly good league when you get down there. Um, but when you get down there, it's really easy to get negative, because you hear the stories, you get down there, it's different treatment than the coast in a lot of cities. Where I was making, it was very different. Some good ways, some not so good ways. But you know, in my personal philosophy when I got down there was, I am going to be part of this journey, part of this process. I've seen people go down there and be miserable and not have a good time, and for whatever reason, their situation might not have been as good as mine was. But they leave really fast, and they never come back, and they don't want to be part of it. But for me, my complete thought process was like, I'm going to engage with everyone I can. I'm going to love this moment, because you know what? This is my chance to be the man. And I got to be the man for 2 weekends there, and I loved every second of it. And then I got to be in Savannah and I got to be the man again. And it was like, you have to know how to do that. You have to know who you need to be, how you need to act, what you need to do. And before I got there, I really didn't. And so just my thought process that whole time was, I'm going to be part of this. I'm going to engage with my own journey. I'm going to be present. And being present and being part of my own journey allowed me to learn all these major lessons that have then allowed me to have success the past 2 years. But if I hadn't had that, there's every chance that I could be in Europe right now. I could be, still down there. So that was kind of my thought process, which I'm just gonna be one with my own journey and just be present and enjoy every second, be grateful.
Mike, it's not going to be your first time at the DCU Center this season. It's not going to be your first time interacting with this Railers organization. Obviously, as I mentioned, you were in the building when the Railers had beaten the ECHL all-time record to start a year at 9-0. You had played against the Railers a couple times down in Norfolk. Talk about what your interactions with the Railers organization have been like to this point so far, and what your observations have been.
So, I think I've only been to the rink 3 times because we came up for that 3 game road trip early a couple seasons ago, and that was my only ever time playing against Worcester in Worcester. And I'll be honest, it was intimidating. I mean, you could feel the electricity in that building. Obviously that team was absolutely rolling at that point, and I mean they kind of stampeded right over us. I was kind of lucky I didn't have to play those games, but yeah, no, I mean it was an electric environment. And our whole team was looking around going, wow, like, geez, this is something. And it's something I'm really looking forward to playing, for instead of against, because obviously, like, when you have the fans behind your back and you have a city that really loves the team, it makes playing way easier. Like, you really don't have to try and get up for games because you owe the fans at that point. Like, if they're bringing it, you got to bring it. And you don't have any excuses at that point. So, for me, I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously I know this team pretty well over the past few years. I know they've had, some ups and downs, but I also know that they have a lot of character in the way they play. The team identity, I think, especially, through Patchy's leadership and other guys that have been around and through it, it's really encouraged kind of that culture of like hard work, grit, and just good people, which I think is probably the biggest lesson I learned from Tuz, is that you go with good people first, and the playing will come, because if you can't have good people, you can't build a culture that wins. And so I think that's the big thing that I've seen from this organization, is that they really build from people out, and they always have good character teams, and that's why the city has so much love for this organization, is because of the way that they do build around good character and good people. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think this organization rewards the right things, and it doesn't cut corners, which some teams will. And I'm just really excited. I'm really looking forward to it. It's amazing to be lucky enough to play in an organization that does understand how the right way to do things is. And so just super excited.
A guy who was a big part of that culture last year, John Muse, veteran goaltender that the team just re-signed this past Friday. A guy who's been around the AHL, the ECHL, who's seen a lot, has accomplished a lot. Talk about what it means for you to get to come into a tandem situation here, where you're going to be working with a guy who knows how to win games, and has been a big piece of the culture here in Worcester.
Personally, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm big into learning. I consider myself a student of the game. And I think, I've obviously looked at, kind of his resume, and it's very impressive. And I'm sure he's got plenty of lessons that he could teach me. And I'm really looking forward to learning. I'm, seeing what he brings, how he brings it, what his preparation is on a daily basis, his mindset. I'm super interested in learning all this stuff. And again, a guy at his age, like, it's not easy to, go through a career that long and have that much success. So just how he's done it is really just on the top of my mind. I'm like, man, I'm interested to learn. I'm interested to play together and really like bring some wins to this team. And I think that's the big thing, especially with goalie tandems, is that, a lot of the time there's like the feeling of like, oh, hey, you got to compete with each other. And I think the goal for us is going to be just, hey, we're going to win together. And we're going to celebrate our success together. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's again, super exciting time for me, super exciting time for my family. Um, Really looking forward to learning from a guy as talented and experienced as John. And it's I'm thinking it's going to be a really good year for sure.
Last few things for you here, Mike. Just real quick, beyond wanting to keep the puck out of the net, describe your play style for the fans at home.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a unique play style, and it's definitely evolved over the years as well. Most people that watch me play will kind of be like freaked out a little bit at first because I'm very active with playing the puck. A guy that I would consider myself somewhat similar to would be like Brassard, who's been kind of through the North Division the past few years. Just probably I keep it a little simpler than he does, but just that same desire to kind of feed the offense, help out the D, and just really move it. Again, that's why Tuz and I really bonded, is because he was like, hey, like this is great. Like let's, moving the puck, getting it out from behind the net, getting our D active in the rush. It helps out everybody. It helps out their careers because their points look better. It helps out me because my stats get better. So for me, I'm a huge puck player. Um, you know, I try to keep my goaltending style more simple as a result. I used to be a little bit crazier with the splits and the athletics, and realized that it was a lot easier to just make the same saves if I was in position. So, I use that same speed that allowed me to get around the net, but I use it to get in position now, and make hard saves kind of look easier. Um, but yeah, that's my big two for me, is I'm just a guy who knows how to skate, knows how to get around the net quickly, be a positional goalie, make hard saves look easy, and just move the puck and feel the offense. I consider myself almost an offensive goalie because I'm always looking to get our guys up in the rush and get them, in a position to score. So.
One of the last two things here. Anything outside of the rink in particular you like to do away from playing hockey?
So, yeah, there's definitely some stuff. I'm a big history buff. Absolutely adore military and naval history. Not only that, but you know, generally I'm big into books, love books. I mean, I'll play video games and stuff too, don't get me wrong, but big book guy, will read fantasy, stuff like that. Also, probably the nerdier side of me is I'm a big Warhammer guy. It's almost always on my helmet. So that was kind of the one, like the people are like, wait, what? But yeah, that's a big one for me, is I'm big into that. So every time I get a painted helmet, I've got some kind of design from the franchise on there. So but no, other than that, I mean, in terms of like when I'm not necessarily having fun, but just what I like to do, especially like in the cities I'm in during the season, is I'm big into community service. I like to help out where I can. My wife and I, we go to church as often as we can and everything. And we found that it's a pretty rewarding feeling to get to give back to a community that gives us so much. So for us, we're always looking to do stuff. We're always willing to help out, and always trying to where we can. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell, honestly. And it's not too interesting, but I have fun where I can, and you know, especially in the community, I just really like to be a part of it, and I like to integrate myself during the season as much as I can, because I just find it's a more rewarding feeling to play for people that you've been able to help in some way, and I feel like it creates that relationship, and those are the relationships that I've always gotten to cherish. There's people in Savannah that still reach out to me. There's people in Norfolk that still reach out to me. And I still talk to actually one person in Norfolk I talk to on a daily basis. And yeah, that's really what I enjoy. I think it's a really special part of being a professional hockey player is that you can connect with people and you can help them and they can help you. And for me, I think it's just a really rewarding feeling, and it's kind of incredible when you really think about it.
Well, the Railers have won 5 of the last 6 ECHL Community Service Team of the Year awards, so I'm sure we'll find something for you to do up here. But in regards to Norfolk, I'm sure you were having a good time with all the naval yards down there.
Oh, big time, big time. Yeah, we toured the whiskey and everything, and got to see the Enterprise while it was getting refurbished and everything. And actually one of the teammates my first year there was training with the SEALs and everything, which was really cool. So we got to meet some of them, and yeah, no, I was again, really special area. Same with Savannah, where we got to really get into the history and see some of the Civil War stuff and everything. But yeah, really looking to engage with Worcester, and really get to find out more about the city and learn as much as I can.
Last thing for you here, Mike. Final message for fans who are hearing this conversation. They're all excited. They're ready to go. They're ready to watch the team play on October 19th and 20th on opening weekend.
I think this is going to be a big year. I'm super excited. I know Tuz is super excited. I know the team and the organization are super excited, and I think there's a reason why. And I would say be on the lookout because I think we're going to build something really special here. And I think this is going to be a new generation of Railer hockey, and it's going to be special. And come regular season, be ready. Be ready.
All right. I think fans are going to be happy to hear that for sure. Well, Mike, brand new trade acquisition for the Worcester Railers ahead of the 2024-25 season. We're looking forward to getting you into town and seeing you in training camp here soon.
Can't wait. I'm excited.